Well, today is a bit of a special day on board because today we are making history as the largest vessel to ever come through the Panama Canal. That's pretty significant. Even though we're the largest vessel to go through the Panama Canal, there's still about 200 ships on the planet that are still too big to go through the Panama Canal. We're actually going through the newest of the three roads or channels cut through Panama. This is the biggest one. It's brand new. I opened a few years ago for larger ships that are 25% larger than the original 2 lanes that they had. And right now we're actually entering the first lock. So if you look back, that's still the ocean out there, and the ocean level. We kind of came up and we're entering the first lock as we speak. And there's a series, I believe, of 6 locks. They got drones flying over us. They got helicopters taking shots. This is kind of a big deal. And there's people looking out, staring, leaning off every balcony and leaning out every window. It's pretty cool. So let's take a little look off the edge and see what it looks like here at the Panama Canal. That's Panama City over there. I'm at the back of the ship by the mini golf. I thought it would be a good place, nice and high up, where we get a good vantage and I can still cross left to right really fast. So to date, this is a toll road, by the way. So to date, the largest toll paid was $330,000 by a Disney ship, I believe just in 2017. But if we're the biggest ship to go through and they charge you based off of tonnage, I imagine our toll is going to be quite expensive to go through this canal. Normally a crew area only. For the first time since this ship was built, they're actually allowing passengers on the bow deck, which is on level 8, to watch us go through the canal. In about an hour, we're going to be going under a bridge where the clearance is so tight to the top of the ship, we can only go through it during a 1-hour window during low tide. Talk about cutting it close. We're going up there next. That guy's ahead of us in line. The Panama Canal is 6 steps. That's 3 steps up and 3 steps down. But in the middle, there's like a big bay. So it's only about 50 miles at this point from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. So you can actually navigate the entire Panama Canal in about 6 to 7 hours without traffic. And we're so close on this side, you could pretty much jump off. On the other side, we're about 20 feet from the edge, so there's a lot more space. And we're being tugged. We're not actually under our own power. We're actually being pulled by tugboats, which is a lot safer. So we're almost up the last of the 3 steps going up. And then we're going to go through the bay, and then we're going to go 3 steps down and pop out into the Caribbean Sea. Now that we've made it through the first 3 locks, we're basically going through the interior of Panama, which is extremely tropical. Palm trees everywhere. This is a cool country. Last time I was here in 2002, wow, a long time ago, I saw the Panama Canal from the land, and also a lot of the cool nature that the land has to offer. They have some weird creatures here, including capybaras, which are like really big squirrels. The Panama Canal was actually started by the French in 1881, but they didn't get very far. They had to stop because of it basically cost more money than they thought, and they had a big problem with mortality due to disease in the area. Anyway, the United States took over the project in the early 20th century and put billions, the equivalent of billions and billions of dollars, to build the first 2 lanes. Most of the Panama Canal is basically a lake through the middle of Panama that they've kind of gorged out a channel through for these large ships. But I'll tell you this, it's been a special day. It's not every day you wake up in the Pacific Ocean, and by that afternoon, you're in the Atlantic Ocean. That's pretty cool. Welcome to the lovely and beautiful Panama Canal.
Peace.
Headed into the Caribbean Sea. We're doing these other locks. Over here you've got the containment pools which hold the water which they can pump into the locks. Raise the level of the water up to the level of that lock, and then we open the gate and head on through. Here you can see the markings of how many meters to each gate within the lock. Earlier today the ship knocked off one of these huge plastic barriers. We were bumping up against it because this side has lots of space, but this side, not as much clearance on this side over here. Now we're on the starboard side. There's a little viewing spot up there for the turistas, and we're losing old people by the dozen. They're dropping like flies off this cruise ship. That's the second person they've pulled off while we were in the middle of the locks. So like on the way up this morning, they pulled out an old person who walked off. And then as we were going down now, middle of the locks, they're pulling off another old person. I've heard that some people go on cruise ships to die because being on a cruise ship can be cheaper than being at an old folks home. I suppose if you haven't seen the world, it's a good way to go. After a long, hard day of watching the ship go through the canal, we've finally made it. We're headed out of the last lock into the Atlantic Ocean. It stopped raining. That's the Atlantic Ocean right there. And these are the guys that make it possible right there.